chosen by Cinnamon Bridges, on air from Scotland, sponsored by Tweet Street Scotland Occupied, home of the satirical Saltire. Born in Hamilton, based in Kilmarnock. So welcome to this special live stream this evening, chosen with Dave Sharp. Now this is going to be a roundup. We've done a documentary, a 4-part documentary, which is available on Rumble. I'll gaze a wee show of that. It's available on Rumble. All the parts are there. Parts 1, 2, 3 and 4. There's other things on the channel, and if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe, because there's a lot of censorship. Put the first one out on we put the first one out on YouTube, and it was censored a wee bit. So the next one they stopped after about 20 minutes. So we had to make sure we were just putting them straight onto Rumble so that we could get the story out there. So it's there for everybody to see. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest, Dave Sharp, on this special occasion. So, Dave, how you doing?
I'm fine, Peter. How are you?
Aye, I'm good, mate. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we've done the 4-part documentary. So, I wanted to ask you, and hopefully the folk that are tuning in to watch will be asking some questions later on. But first of all, I wanted to ask you, what's happened since we've filmed the documentary? Because I know that you went home, you went out to Ireland. But you tell me also as well that after you go through all the story, what's happened to you, it takes its toll on you. So tell us in your own words what's happened since we've filmed the documentary about, what's that, 4 weeks?
Well, as you know, I was up there for a week with you filming, and yeah, you're right, Peter. Giving your testimony is really, really difficult. It's never ever easy for anybody to do. And then, as you know, the next day I came back home, and then we had the news that Sinead O'Connor had died, or rather that the funeral was going to be the next day. So I flew over to Dublin the next day and ended up spending a few days there. Met a load of survivor friends I knew. Very emotional. It was an extremely emotional event. And it was extremely emotional meeting a lot of old friends and stuff. And when I came back, as with a lot of campaigns, Peter, when I come back from campaigns, I come back to a lonely house. I come back to coming down from the experience of it, and every time it's never easy. It's never ever easy when you hear all these stories, and then when you find an inbox full of survivors who are sharing their experiences, and people saying that the work that I'm doing helps them, and that's basically what keeps me going. But let's not forget why we were up there. This started because of the news about Amber Gibson, and it was just interesting that last week there, when her brother got a prison sentence, heavy prison sentence, that we heard the news officially from a well-known, renowned man with 30 years experience of in-care abuse in Scotland, who came out and told the world, you know, that the system's dead. The care system is dead in Scotland. We know, and the facts are there, and we've been trying to tell people these facts for years, that 50% of those who come out of care won't go on to be anything because there's no system in place that actually helps them, or the systems that are in place don't work and are not effective enough. And we know that a large majority of these, as Duncan said, a lot of these people, kids who come out who have no family, they go straight into hostels and straight into, which starts mostly off as prescribed addiction, which very quickly leads to non-prescribed addiction and a life of hell and misery. And that's basically the life I've had. And to hear those stats, then all of a sudden, again, my inbox went mad. People were saying, I got one particular email from somebody in Belfast who said, we hear all the stories about you. We hear about a lot of people who pick on you. We hear a lot of people that make accusations against you. And a lot of these people, we talk about the ACEs movement, which I won't go into, but these are people who are supposed to be trauma-informed, who talk about childhood care in a way that they're trying to help people. But as we've tried to explain many times, these people have done a lot more damage than good. And a lot of the times what we're saying is we're trying to work with people, Ian and Peter, sorry. We're trying to connect with people in Scotland to say these things are happening. Again, I would encourage anybody watching this, go into my Twitter at Dave Sharp 59 and look at the pinned tweet that this man knows what he's talking about. 50% of people who are in prison were in the care home. And we know that almost all of these people suffered some kind of abuse. Abuse in the sense of not necessarily sexual abuse, but actually being taken into a new environment, being taken away from your family. That, it is abuse in itself. And again, when we talk about the drug deaths, this is the big thing that people seem to ignore for some strange reason. That the drug deaths, 50% of those who died through addiction or suicide were actually in the care system as well, who suffered abuse. And again, when we mention these figures, we're ostracised. We're called liars. We're called troublemakers. And a lot of these are from people who know these facts exist. And again, we talk about going up the ladder, about people in positions of power. A lot of people in positions of power are the ones who infiltrate and cause this backlash to isolate, to discredit, and to make false accusations and do all these things against people and survivors and campaigners. And that's the problem. That's what we've got to try and help. That's what we've got to try and stop doing. We've got to find a way, as Duncan said, we've got to find a way to get through to these people to say, you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
So, with you talking about your pinned tweet, that was, I've not played any the sound for due to copyright, but it was for the 9, I believe.
Yeah.
It was on a couple of weeks ago. And Duncan was basically saying on that what you had said about the stats of people that had came for the care system, been abused, fell into a life of addiction, whether it be through drugs or alcohol, and the number was 50, about 50% of the people in care had turned to addiction or alcohol.
Yeah. Well, we'll not make anything in their lives. And I just say, a lot of them come out the care system. And again, I'm going through experience 50 years ago, because one of the biggest questions I always get asked, Peter, is, has anything changed in 50 years? No, it's actually quite worse, because we've got a lot of resources, we've got the money, regardless of the pandemic. At one time, when Scotland used to be known for putting its children first, they've now become commodities, and that's where the problem lies. That too many people, these people are coming out the care system and into somebody's bank account because they become a commodity. And if they do something wrong, if they become what we call high maintenance, anybody who becomes high maintenance or known to be taking drugs, we know from experience in a lot of these hostels and homeless centres, but one strike and you're out. And this doesn't change. This is still going on now. again, we're talking about the Amber Gibson case. That's only 2 years ago. These are the same problems we've had for decades over decades over decades. And we've been saying for years, we're a small enough country in Scotland. If we could get a room, and people are saying that, and the 3 chances, we've only got 1 left.
We're having a few problems with the sound here, Dave. So I'm going to stop this stream now, and we'll maybe restart it once we get the sound back.